I think part of, to me, the appeal of the story is that it's kind of about everything. And it's about everything depending on sort of who you are and where you were raised and where you come from. You have a connection to material. If you're someone who is interested in race and class, it's a story for you. If it's someone, as a woman, there are issues about domestic violence, which are very powerful. But it's just this great historical, he's a lens through which to look at sort of our country and the city of Los Angeles, over the last 50 years. And, even if you were just into culture, it's just a very telling story about our culture and about celebrity in our culture.
Do you have a hope that when people watch this that, they don't necessarily go back into the minutia of the small details of the trial, but they see it for the bigger picture?
That is my hope. I do think that, I think the question of his guilt or innocence is hard to ignore because I think that's sort of a mystery that shrouds this whole story to this day, and I think it's one reason why we're still fascinated that, there's so many people in America who believe he's guilty, but you'll never hear him say that. In fact, that's the case, so we'll never know. What I really want people to take away from this is sort of understanding everything that went into it and why we were so fascinated by the trial, why people were so invested in O.J., why people reacted to the verdict on both sides, black and white, the way they did, because I still think people look at it in a very reductive way 20 years later. And if you watch this and really live emotionally with the experience of the black community in Los Angeles and sort of the tension, the ongoing tension with the LAPD, the series of injustices that they suffered, you have a different understanding when you come to O.J.'s trial of their investment in him. You have a different understanding. Even, by the way, I'm not saying this wasn't talked about at the time, but it was amazing how people still just how could you be celebrating a murder in terms of the black reaction to the verdict? And I would hope that if you spend a lot of time watching this, miniseries, that by the time you get to that, you'd be like, I get it. Not everything's complicated. Should he have gotten off or shouldn't he have gotten off? Why he got off? Why people reacted the way they did? Why people reacted to the way those people were reacting? It's everything that I'm trying to do with this film is unpacking that and offering some understanding to America.
Yeah. Didn't you get certain interviews that had not been heard yet, or certain parts of it?
I think that the unique thing, I'm not trying to I'm very proud of what we did. I don't want to downplay it.
Yeah.
But I think what's unique about it is the coalescing of so many different strands into one narrative to sort of, shed light and explain something that we were so sort of fixated on in a myopic way in 94 and 95. For me, it's about all this stuff that happened, 30, 40 years before that.
Yeah.
That really sort of speaks to that. Now, there are people from the trial, for instance, that really haven't sat for interviews in the last more or less 15 to 20 years. And so, their perspective, of this huge media event that they were at the center of, this media circus as they would call it, to hear them, truthfully recollect about this and what was the most high-profile loss, for instance, for the people in the prosecution of their careers, and and they were blamed by a lot of people, and so to sit and to have them sort of go through this exercise of walking through this again, whether it was Marcia Clark or Gil Garcetti, who was the district attorney at the time, you haven't heard that. I'm pretty sure Marcia Clark hasn't sat for 5 hours to go through this, and I'm pretty sure she won't ever do it again.
Yeah.
At least she says she's not going to do it again, so we'll see.
Is there a sort of passion project for you?
I've really wanted to work on a project that involves sitting on the beach for a couple of weeks with drinks and reading books.
What kind of drinks?
Margaritas.
Yeah.
Cool. That's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, well, listen, my hope for you is that you can get out of this snowy place and go find that beach.
It's not so bad. It's not a bad place to be. Thank you.